Were they ever genuine? Have they forgotten about you? Are they lying? The same person asked 3 questions, all related, so I'm just doing the ones I feel led to do. Afraid to be alone. I'm gonna be honest with you, immediately what I get, like before I even pulled a card, before I even turned my camera on, I got that if you think they're lying, they're lying. That you have overlooked some stuff, or maybe they have. Somebody here is afraid to be alone. Overlooking things because of this. I'm getting that they're lying, but not necessarily about the stuff you think. But no, your intuition has told you. You know, I mean, if you're even asking. Now, I will also say I'm getting reminded of people I've known who, I mean, certain people do have disorders like paranoia or whatever. They'll just accuse everybody of lying. I've known these people. I'm really not getting that energy from these questions. Someone intuitively knows that someone's lying to them. Like your spirit has just been telling you, look, not the one, an emotional vampire came out. Were they ever genuine? Yes. Yes. And in fact, I know this is going to sound weird, and I think about this a lot. The fake is genuine for them. This is just something they do. This person doesn't really know how to be genuine. So for them to be fake, that's who they are. I know that's crazy. I know. Okay, I know it sounds crazy. But I know it'll make sense to the right people. But no, this person just doesn't. So that's what I mean is really, they just don't know how to be real. They've been through a lot, but that doesn't mean you need to put up with lies and manipulation and stuff, anything like that. No, they have been through a lot. Like, no, there were things they told you, especially if someone told you about their past. There are, you know, I'm getting this, that there were lies mixed with truth so that it seemed true. They inflated stories, caused confusion on purpose, but there were things that were genuine. There's also, though, just a lot of masking, a lot of this person just not knowing who they are and being out for themselves. Also, I just got that they were protecting someone. I'm so sorry, but I got the energy of someone who was running a scam, like a massive scam, like one that involves calling people and DMing people, you know what I mean? But they're doing it to pay for something that's really necessary, or because someone's forcing them to, like they feel like they owe money to somebody, like a parent or a family member, or they have bills to pay, you know, like all of us, we have bills to pay. This person feels like they have an unfair amount of bills to pay, or an unfair amount of debt, unfair amount of something. So that's what makes it fair for them to scam. And it doesn't have to be any of this stuff literally. I hope you know that. Okay, Not Noble came out as I talk about all this. Confirmation. They know. They're not proud of themselves. They wanted to be genuine. But they just couldn't. They couldn't. But they got in deep. They wish they could have, but they should have ended things or walked away or stopped the scam or whatever when they realized it was going to hurt you. But of course, you know, you could say that about anybody. I mean, everybody should stop before they hurt you. But I'm getting, though, that the scam that they perpetrated on you was a bit different than what they do otherwise. Like, they just scam in general. Scam's a way of life for them. Looking for what they can take. They enter every room, like completely always present, always looking around for stuff they can just grab. It's just that kind of energy. And it might not be that literally, because this might be someone who wouldn't bother themselves with petty stuff like, you know, walking away with something or pickpocketing or whatever. Even though pickpocketing is really not petty. I've known people who had a lot of money stolen that way. Somebody who has that energy, though, you know, like their eyes are always open, always looking out for what they can take, with no regard to anyone else. Like, you got to really watch yourself around this person. Got to watch your stuff. Don't leave stuff around them unless you want it to go missing. Unless you have a camera on them. Okay? But there is a genuine vibe. They kind of just feel like stealing, thievery, whatever, is part of who they are. They feel like they turned a corner, can't really go back. I'm not ready to give up. That tells me that they've kept it going, or maybe you have, or something, but something might still be going on. Trust your intuition, because it's been telling you all along. Let me get some more specific stuff here. Spill Tea Oracle deck. Let me see if I can get something more specific. Partial truths, protective shell. Telling you half truths. That's what I mean. There was always some kind of honesty in there. That's how I think a lot of people tell the best lies. That way they can really come across sincere and they can also have it fact checked. Last year I saw this documentary based on a podcast called Scamanda about this woman named Amanda who, gosh, the lengths she went to act like she had cancer. Kept going to the emergency room and taking pictures of herself, putting on social media her and her blog with IVs and all this. Like there was a partial truth in there, like she was in the hospital, but it wasn't for what people thought. She just went to the emergency room a lot. Made it look like she was in there for chemotherapy. It's that kind of thing, inflated. Although the Amanda thing, I think that's a bit over the top, but I got reminded of that for a reason. Protective shell. Part of the reason they mask and the part of the reason like they're lying and doing all this stuff is because they're in a protective shell. Even if they're running a money scam, like a gold digging scam, just trying to get what they can out of somebody, they keep their true emotions hidden for self-protection. I really don't like this vibe, though, of thievery. I really don't like that. Anyway, what else can I tell you about this? Let's get some positive cards. Positive cards. Focus on the positive. Focus on new connections. Focus on your intuition and strengthening your intuition. May your intuition be stronger than ever. Your intuition has told you all along what's going on. Alone but not lonely. Yeah, afraid to be alone came out of the beginning. I remember saying that one or both of you were afraid to be alone. There's still an element of that with this person, even though it sounds like they're just some kind of scammer. That's only part of it, really. They also just want someone to take care of them. It's like genuine up till then, It's, you know what it is? It's that energy of a child who lies about stuff, who embellishes. If you ask how they hurt themselves, they'll make up some, crazy story about a fight with a bear or something, but really they tripped going down the stairs. But you be alone but not lonely, okay? Truth, acceptance, not too good to be true. Challenge accepted. That's interesting because 2 cards about acceptance, challenge accepted, and acceptance. Truth, not too good to be true. This person might make you think other people in the future are going to be too good to be true, but really, if you're putting out the frequency, manifesting, praying for, but really believing, like the frequency, what I mean is just imagine that you're having thoughts about like the energy that you want. And just imagine that as you go through your day, as you go through life, you are drawing that to you out of the air because you believe it. Because you're just going around feeling good, being like, you know what, I found the love of my life. Because I'm getting that's what somebody here wants. I got a lot of that in these comments. People asking about soulmates and stuff. And honestly, I'm not a believer in that kind of thing. I think that a lot of people are under a spell looking for that kind of stuff. But at the same time, if that's what you want, if that's what will make you happy, you need to manifest it. You need to manifest it. You need to imagine it. Think about it. Think about what you actually want. And be grateful for the people who've shown you what you don't want. Imagine yourself, imagine a few minutes how it would feel to be in a relationship with someone that's just as wonderful as you want them to be. I mean, you do hear that stuff once in a while, that people are actually happy. So go ahead and believe that for yourself. Believe that you can find someone who is your best friend, who is someone who also can't keep your hands off each other. You don't annoy each other to the point where you want to leave each other. You want to stay together. You enjoy each other. Your life is better together than apart. I'm still a firm believer in being your own soulmate, though, because what if something happens to that person? And I've been telling people that in my comments. I'm not trying to be a downer, but at the same time, what happened? What are you going to do if something happens to that person? You find your soulmate, and I don't even want to speak it. I'm just going to say, what if you don't have them for long, and it's not your fault, it's not their fault? See, if you put so much emphasis on having a soulmate, you're setting yourself up, I think, for like the ultimate failure. Honestly. Concentrate on yourself. Focus on yourself. Focus on just being good to yourself, taking care of yourself, not being afraid to be alone, filling your time, filling your head, your thoughts with good things, working on yourself. Put that focus into yourself. The truth. You are ready for any challenge. You are. Nothing is too good to be true for you. Nothing's too good to be true. It's funny. I got truth and not too good to be true. And the questions were all like, are they lying? Were they ever genuine? Also, the person asked, have they forgotten about me? I'm getting no, but I'm getting the truth, though, is that there's someone better. And it's not too good to be true. That you actually settled and overlooked some things, that you put this person on a pedestal that they did not deserve to be on. You can do better, and you will do better. You deserve someone who matches your frequency, your energy. That's what I mean. Think those thoughts. And just imagine, okay, even if you don't believe me, that's fine. You know what? It's best, honestly, if you don't believe me, just do it anyway. Have a little session where you think about just even 30 seconds. The longer, the better. Joe Dispenza, he's a great teacher, too. He says to do it for 17 seconds or something like that. I don't really listen to a lot of his stuff. But I've heard Kevin Trudeau, who I follow like crazy, talk about it. But anyway, I mean, I stumbled into it by accident. Just start imagining the life you want. Imagine just like a scene of your life using, actually it's 7 senses, all 5, like the main 5, plus 2 more, vestibular and proprioception. I think I pronounced that right. I think there's different ways to pronounce proprioception, I don't know. But that's when you're getting up and moving around, walking around, you know the distance between things. Basically, if you get to the point where your character that you're writing, who is you, first off, do it in a world with unconditional love, causing harm to no one, not taking what anybody else has, okay? Pretend the world's a blank slate. You can have anything you want, though. What do you want? Just think what it is you actually want. How it feels to be with this person. What's your favorite restaurant? Really to work in all the senses, because that's really how you lock into that avatar. That's how you do it. That's how you shift the consciousness. When the characters start making decisions. Sorry, I started talking about this and I trailed off. At my website, needthismessage.store, I have a book there called The Holodeck Method, which I think goes over people's heads a bit, but basically the gist of it is like how I manifested, how I have imagined things, and I just gave you what I did, okay? All 7 senses. Have a little imagination session. I've done it so many times, and I've done it specifically. I've manifested specific scenes, like with the specific, like stuff I didn't know existed, and then there it is. Because I just let myself believe it, and I put it out there in the universe with intention. Do that as you're walking around, and that's something I need to do as well, is have these little sessions, really know what you want. Have a list of things that you want. Have a list of what you want. Be focused on that goal. That's why people do vision boards, because it does help. It does keep it going through your mind. Stuff that you actually want. Places you want to travel. Restaurants you want to go to. And when I say travel, it doesn't have to be hotels and stuff. It could be hiking in the woods. It can be whatever. And also know that stuff can be given to you. You might not necessarily have to make the money for it, although you can work toward it by making a plan to make that money. But just manifest it anyway. Think about just a few seconds in a life where you already have it. What are you eating? What are you drinking? What are you talking about? In that life, like a little story. Like you're writing a novel about yourself, only it's just a little snippet. And it's after the main action, okay? That's why I also sometimes call the epilogue method. Because, by the way, I have written fiction before. That's why I talk about this a lot. Like written fiction, like no pen names. I'm not going to give out pen names, but no, I have written professionally. I don't do that anymore. But I feel like I did that in the past just so I could tell you this, because I learned so many things. I manifested so many things by accident in writing. And I'm manifesting things even faster now because I'm doing it with intention. Doing it with intention, like knowing that I'm putting it out there. Creating a thought form. Just a theory, entertainment purposes only, no way this is true. Creating a thought form. That's why you got to hold it in your head longer. Like the thought form, I believe, it becomes a thought form and goes off and does its own thing and goes off and attracts other energy and then comes back to you. I believe the moment it becomes a thought form is the moment the characters make their own decisions. When the characters do something you didn't expect. That's when you got it. That's when the magic happens. That's when you transferred your consciousness to the other avatar. Because I know a lot of people aren't ready to hear this, but some of you already know. That's where the shift is, the split. Is that some people believe they're creating the world around them, that they are everything, including the creator. Some people believe that, the divine frequency, which I believe is the frequency of unconditional love. Think about what you want with that person. Where would you go? And you're genuinely happy together. Genuinely happy. You can use someone else as a muse. If their energy doesn't line up with it, their frequency, like if they're not manifesting you back, imagining you back, if they don't agree with it when that energy comes at them, let's say you send that to them as a thought form. Okay, I'm getting a lot of downloads even as I go right now. The longer it's in your mind, whether it's 17 seconds or whatever, the longer the better. The longer the better. If you just sit and just type out a fictional story. I mean, some people even tell you just to do it longhand, but I've done it typing. You can even do talk to text, which might be easier for a lot of people. But write it. somehow. You can longhand, definitely, because that gets both sides of your brain activates. It really definitely, it activates your brain a different way. But what goes on is you're creating a thought form. You know how we talk about the world's a stage? Truman Show, Matrix. Being here is like you not knowing that you were born literally in a play, like into a play. But there are also multiple plays going on. There are multiple theaters, multiple stages. That's just downloads I get. Get your own downloads, you know. That's why I'm really here to help strengthen your intuition so you'll get your own downloads. Because I manifest that all the time. Honestly, I'm constantly doing these meditations and stuff where I'll get these messages and I'm like, I don't know if I want to share that online. Because sometimes I get some stuff that just sounds way out there. Just like channeled messages for the collective. But what I do is I manifest that I'm just putting it out there and it becomes someone else's message and they deliver it. Because that's how much I know it needs to be out there. But it's okay if I don't deliver it. It's okay. It wasn't mine to deliver, maybe. It was just mine to come up with and give it to someone else, and somebody else might not even know where it came from. Okay? I know it sounds crazy too, doesn't it? I know I'm bouncing around here, but it's because my brain just wants to talk about this kind of stuff. The reason, just a theory, that you think all this is real is because this is what your senses were filled with, like your actual physical body were filled with all this stuff forced on you, loud noises and sounds and smells and foods, and, you know, especially at a vulnerable time when you were a baby and had no say, couldn't speak up for yourself, couldn't talk. People were forcing things on you. People were inundating your senses. That's why certain people believe in like silent births, but that's just one reason. Anyway, that's why early childhood trauma, like infant trauma and stuff, I mean, it really has an impact. It has a huge impact on people. Any psychologist, therapist, anyone, that they'll tell you that's, you just have to find ways to deal with it. Because that's when things are forming. It's like something that grows into place the wrong way and it's like it's already grown. How are you going to change it now? But there are things you can do. The point is, that's why you have to meditate and have these sessions where you imagine, which is ancient secret society stuff, because they'll do collective imagination stuff. And I need to start doing that here. I've been thinking about that a lot. Imagining world peace together, which I've done a few of those videos, but I just need to develop them more. Anyway, you are a trendsetter. You have excellent ideas. You are aware of your purpose. This is about going within, okay? Like, your ideas are coming from someplace great. You are channeling amazing ideas. You're not just someone who follows the trends. You set the trends. Trust your ideas. Trust your intuition. Trust your purpose. Trust realizing that your purpose really is to have joy, to find joy, to do what excites you, to spread that joy, to be a light. To be a light. To do what gives you joy and passion, desire, like excitement. What lights you up, what you're passionate about. You're here to make big moves on this planet. Even if they don't feel that. Even if they don't feel that way. Like, even that thing I just said about sending messages out to the collective just from my mind. Just through the web here. Just through the web here in my mind. Through the universe. That's making a big impact. Even if the message, even if somebody else goes viral with something. Okay? That's still going to come back to me. That karma's coming back to me. You got to realize the karma. I mean, every action, every thought has an impact on you. An equal and opposite reaction. You're always reaping what you sow at all times. The fact that from birth, someone said to you, hey, you live on Earth. This is what it smells like here. This is what it sounds like here. Here's the hospital you were born in, or wherever you were born. Maybe you were born in a field someplace. This is what it smells like. This is what it looks like. You know, this was given to you. You didn't get to choose this. When really, the reason this place existed was so people could choose. Or I shouldn't say people. So, I don't know the word for it. Beings, like interdimensional beings. Just a theory, no way this is true. So they could come here and it's a living library where everything is a book. Like, it's hard to explain. That's why everything's in story form. Because it's living library technology. And then there were people who came along. I shouldn't say people. It was hijacking. Saturn Moon Matrix, just a theory, just a theory. Some of those people might claim to be the original founders of this entire place, but that's really not what happened. The technology existed. It's a long story. Think for yourself, believe for yourself, go within, go within. But they wanted you to think this is all there is. I mean, I feel like it's just so based on, you know, my future is set in stone, this is going to happen. And although it's weird, like, because We exist really outside time. Time only exists here. I don't know how it works, but it's like the whole thing's just so brilliantly written. It's like a story within a story within a story. Even the stuff you're hearing about, like the Saturn Matrix stuff I just said, that's still part of the story, it's part of the show. At a higher level, there's still a bigger, higher levels beyond that. Amazingly complex, the story. Even the stuff, like I said, 4 and 5D. Here at this channel, I always try to tell you, like, I'm here to confirm your intuition. That's what my readings are for. And it really should be. I mean, I've heard other people say this. Other intuitive readers say the same thing. It's really, they should agree with what you're already feeling. It should line up with what you are already experiencing, what your spirit's already telling you. If it's brand new to you and no one comes to your mind, then it's not for you. I think some people are doing that. Some people are seeking clarity. Like, there are times I've even reached out to intuitive people who I've found online because I just wanted clarity and confirmation, because the problem with me, with any of us who do this, yeah, we have intuition, but our natural emotions crowd it out. It's easier to do it for other people than it is for us. And that's very frustrating. That's very frustrating. Although you can strengthen it. But I just want you guys to know the power's in your mind. All is mind. Like, most of the questions, like someone said, will he reach out? Well, if you want him to reach out, manifest that he reach out. Imagine a conversation with him. Imagine him reaching out. I could still, like, pull a card or two and just say, based on current energy, here's what I'm getting. Based on what's going on currently, but is he going to reach out? I don't know. Because seriously, a reader, an intuitive reader, a psychic, whoever, can tell you till they're blue in the face that something's going to happen, that something's going to work out. But if you don't believe it, if your subconscious doesn't line up with that, if you're still living in fear, then you're going to draw that fear in, and there's nothing that psychic or whoever could have done about it. That's why I'm always trying to tell you, you are the psychic, you are the intuitive one. I'm trying to point you toward that. And if my readings resonate, I mean, I hope you see the bigger picture, that it means what I'm telling you is true, because I'm putting out videos that resonate for you, and you're drawn to those videos. You know, it just shows that you're intuitive, because I intuitively put out a frequency with every video. I mean, I sit here and meditate. I put out a frequency that my readings only go to the right people, even if people hate them, even if you don't like it, it's still, there's some reason the person had to watch it. Anyway, if you want them to reach out, manifest that they reach out. Imagine them reaching out. Imagine a conversation with them. It doesn't mean you are interfering with their free will. I used to wonder about that, but no. The download I got, the way we actually create in the 4D is like through our imagination, in dreams, like basically everything going on in here. Dreams, imagination, stuff going on in your mind, that's 4D creation. 5D is where you'll actually see it. That's like the timeline, like where it actually shifts from all these different concurrent Earth timelines to being outside time, exiting the stage. But it's a change in your mind. And I'm going to share a bigger download I got today. This is more important than any reading I could give you. The way we create in a 4D is like, let's say you have an imagination session about reaching out to someone, or someone reaching out to you. Some people have been told that that's called mentalism, some kind of magic, which don't even, let's the Bible is New Age, okay? The stuff I'm telling you is magic, is stuff that was erased, that never should have been erased, because evil people were in charge. People who knew the truth, knew the power, but used it for evil. You're not changing their thoughts. Their thoughts have to line up with it. They have to line up with it. Then they're a magnet for each other. That's how you create. That's how collective creation happens. Let's say you did. Let's say you had an imagination session, manifestation session, whatever you want to call it, where you really focused on a visualization. Imagined all the senses. You could smell this person. You could hear them. Suddenly they start talking. Like, they start making decisions, you know? Then I honestly, according to my theory, a thought form is created. Something that has left, like it's its own being. It's created in the ether. It is drawing it in for you. It is magnetized for you, for the energy of it to form out of the consciousness that exists, out of all the possibilities. That person also has to agree with it. Like, if it makes its way over to them, okay? It has to line up with their frequency. It has to be drawn into them. Like, they have to want it. They have to be open to it. It's not something you can really manipulate them into. You can present it to them. In fact, I'm getting this too. Oh my gosh. Thank you for listening again, but I feel like I need to say this. This is why people get what they want a lot. This is why people who do this, they get things, or people who cast spells or pray, or because you can call prayer whatever you want. I believe it's the same thing as casting a spell. And I know as somebody who prayed for a long time and saw what it did, yeah, it worked. Yeah, but I see things a bit differently now. So they wanted you to think that all there is the stage. It's like being born on the holodeck on the Starship Enterprise. We're going to tell you what to think, what to do. We're going to take the controls. We control you. You don't remember what you're even doing here. You don't remember even choosing this. What you didn't know was that at any time, you can take back the control by realizing that the control was yours all along. But also, just honestly, by doing this thought form thing where you sit and imagine, image, image, magi, in the image of, when you imagine with your inner eye, not your outer eye, if thine eye be single, thy whole body be full of light, as Jesus said, and he came to teach you hermetics, all is mind. But the message was distorted and published by people who shouldn't have published it and mistranslated it. Power hungry people who were controlled by spiritual beings. We think it was people here on earth. No, it's controlled by spiritual beings. Which is why we need to have unconditional love and realize that even the worst of these people, the worst people that you've ever heard of, is it really them or is it somebody working through them? Okay? Did someone really take control of the body? So, how do you unplug from it? Here's just my theory. It's how I've manifested things and what I believe it really means to create the new earth. The kingdom of heaven is within. To get quiet, to drown out everything, drown out all senses, drown out sound, noise if you can. If not, do the best you can. But I even put on a blindfold. I listen to music to drown things out. I'll be by myself. I have frequency music that I listen to that helps me. And I will have long, focused imagination sessions where going into, I already know that my character, who is me in the future at some point, is meeting a friend at a restaurant that we both enjoy, and I'm paying because I can afford to, because money is no object to me, because money just comes to me easily. It's just a frequency. Money's no object. And I order something, I order whatever I want. I tell them to order whatever they want. And we talk about how grateful we are that everything's going well in our lives. Then actually this just happened. As I talk about it, I just realized my friend decides that we're going on a trip someplace. Hey, we should go somewhere. Where do you want to go? And then we start planning a trip. And you know what? Those characters just made a decision. And I just created a thought form, I believe. Maybe not as deeply as the way I have created them before, like when I go deep and, really channel a story and get into it. When the characters start doing things that you didn't expect. Like, that's why if you ever write fiction, if you ever study how to write fiction, which I think a lot of those rules have kind of gone away with self-publishing, but they're still there for a reason, because they resonate with people. They will tell you to work in the 5 senses. Personally, like I said, there's 7, but the 5 senses, they'll tell you to work in the 5 senses every so often. I forget how many senses. It's been so long. But you want to keep working them in as often as you can, even in the most small ways. And you can do it in ways that also set the scene, that knock out several birds with one stone. But that's the reason, like in writing, they tell you to work in all the senses, because people connect to the character more, because that's when people really get flowing. And writing, people get into a story and you're injecting thoughts into them. It's a really kind of a scary thing now when I think back on it. And that's why people get so mad when a story goes wrong, because they feel it. They feel very connected to those characters, even though as a writer, you're like, oh my gosh, I birthed that child. I gave birth to that baby, and it was terrible. It was a horrible, traumatic birth. And all you did was read it. All you did was pick up the baby, for a minute and get attached. I gave birth to that baby. I suffered for that baby. That's how it felt. That's how it feels to put out a creative project and have people, read it. And to them, it's just a baby that they'll move on to the next baby. They're going to take that baby, oh, I love this baby so much, and then just throw it away and move on to the next, okay? But that's how they feel about it in the moment when when something happens they don't like. They get so mad. They take it so personally. They hate cliffhanger endings. Oh. That's why you're writing the epilogue. You're writing after the action, okay? Or holodeck, however you want to look at it. Just pick what you want your character to do. And I'm working on a course. Like, I actually have the book I have out there right now. I put out there last month, I think. But I'm going to work on a course where there are exercises where I help people walk through it. Because, look, going back to that comment thread, the one where I'm using that as prompts, like, I did that because I've just been feeling so burnt out by the readings lately. I meditated, and that's what my spirit told me to do, was just put out this video, start doing that, just really ask people, what do they want to know? And use that as a prompt, because it's going to resonate for other people. Because I sit here and try to shuffle cards and try to do a reading, and my brain's going to this other stuff, because it's time to lift out of here. And a lot of these questions that were asked, I'm going to do more videos about this. I know it's not what people want to hear, because what you want is an answer. Like, will this happen? Will this happen? Are they going to do this? All these future questions, even though I clearly said in the video, it's okay. I clearly said I do, are they? I do present and past. I don't do future. Because the future can change. Okay? Based on your belief, based on you imagining new things into existence, based on what you believe is going to happen. That's why be careful watching the news, because who's leading who there? There's stuff I can't even talk about. There's stuff I can't even say, because it just proves I'm right, honestly. It just proves. Trying to hijack your thoughts, trying to get you to manifest, visualize certain things. Just a theory. That's why you hear about certain things for a little bit, then you don't. And they've been trying to test us. Look, there's stuff I really got to stop talking about it. I'll probably edit all this stuff out. Still might just go through and pick a card or two for some of these will they questions. I don't know. I might just come do like a few long combined videos, because it's actually kind of fun. It's sort of awakening me a little bit. I think it's just sort of getting me out of burnout. I don't know. It's actually been helpful. I want you guys to know that you're in control of this. All these questions is like it's all this stuff that's getting you stuck down here. Is this person my soulmate? Are we going to get back together? I just got this too. That's why people in certain organizations, fraternities, sororities, even like the co-ed fraternities, because you'll have those too, like service fraternities, even in college. If some people didn't know, like there's a big one called Alpha Phi Omega, APO. There are tons of stuff like that. Anytime you have an agreement with people, and you're meeting, and you have chants and songs and things that you do, and secret handshakes, things that bond you, and you start having, you're with like-minded people, you can start manifesting the same thing. You can start creating together. That is collective creating. That's how secret societies do it. That's how a lot of people do it. They don't even realize that's what they're doing. There is power in that. There is power in that. Just like sports teams, political parties. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying. Have you ever known these guys who were just kind of, I don't want to say weak, but nice guys? Guys who weren't out there pursuing a woman, but they were nice. They were a catch, but they were sweet. They end up getting with these women sometimes who just take them over, who become like the louder one in the relationship, the more dominant one. I should say, the one who really wears the pants. Yeah. The woman becomes the one who wears the pants, even if the guy's working, whatever. I'm just now getting that a lot of times, something like that, it's because that guy's energy was wide open. And he was presented with her. She sent all that his way, won him over, whatever. It's not always. I'm not saying this is a usual occurrence, but that energy coming from her because she wanted him that bad. And maybe she did do some spell work. Because that is energy work. Thought work is energy work. Prayer, I mean, really, it's all energy work. But anyway, she put some energy work on him, okay? He wasn't prepared for it. It just hit him like a freight train. So he went along with it. I think, gosh, it happens to a lot of us, doesn't it? Some of us women who have tended to be more submissive and have had to go along with things, been coerced, been through stuff, been with people who were made maybe more dominant because we people pleased. Goes both ways. Goes every which way. Because I'm always telling you here, ground your energy so that you know what your thoughts sound like, okay? Since I've already gone this far, I'm just going to tell you something else that happened. I'm going to tie together some loose ends here. There was someone several years ago, I don't even know when it was now, 2023? I don't even know. There's a woman who does energy work. She used to follow me, and she became like my biggest fan, and she followed, and I had several accounts at the time that I was active with. I still have several accounts, but they're not all active. But I was pretty active on a few, and she was on all of them. She would be my first person to watch every single video and comment on every video, and it got worse, though, after I talked to her on the phone. There have only been a few people who I have talked to FaceTime or chat or something, just a handful of people in the entire time I've done this, and she's one of them. Until I talked to her on the phone, like, I didn't know who she was, what she sounded like. I didn't know that she liked women. I just knew it seemed like we agreed on a lot of stuff, and she seemed like an interesting person, and I ended up talking to her. We tried to chat, but it went wrong, so we ended up just voice chatting. We tried to video chat. We couldn't get it to go. So we ended up just talking on the phone for a few hours on the phone that night, but I'll never forget this. The video worked for like a whole 3 seconds or something. She showed up on my screen, but then she promptly disappeared. But get this, as she showed up on my screen, and this is a weird thing to talk about, I felt like someone had touched me in a private area. They had not. But I got that feeling as soon as I saw her. I have never gotten that before or since. Like, it was spiritual. It was really weird. And it freaked me out at the time. But I realized later, it's because she was having those thoughts about me. I did not reciprocate. I did not reciprocate. But here's the thing. She also had a brain injury problem. So that's why I just overlook it. And I really don't even want to mention who she is or anything. I hope she gets healing and everything's okay, because I think her intention's in the right place and she actually is really smart. She's just got a brain injury. Things changed after we talked on the phone. She got closer, or tried to. That's when she really started commenting on all my videos. I mean, every one of them. She was the first one immediately. Like, as soon as I'd post it, she'd watch it thoroughly, watch the whole thing, and comment and start correcting me on stuff. At least that's how I saw it. After we talked on the phone, it was like she sort of acted like she was my boss. I'm like, this is weird. Why is she telling me what videos to post now? But I think she was just trying to be friendly. I don't know. I don't like that. She asked me right away if I was into women. I'm like, no. And she asked me if I was her person. Do you think you're my person? Or something like that. And I'm just like, I'm really not into women like that. Really not trying to find anyone. But no, she really thought I was her person. She was trying to manifest me. And she tells me this several different ways. And it didn't really catch up to me till later. Eventually I blocked her because she left a comment that was so creepy. She left a few of them. But one of them just kind of took it over the top, where she said something about manifesting a marriage. Like, she thought we were going to get married. The point of the whole story is, she was having those thoughts about me. That's why I got that energy from her. Let's say I was a susceptible person. Let's say I had been looking for something with someone like her, or didn't know what I was looking for. Let's say whatever. Let's say I was just somebody with really low self-esteem who was just looking for anything with anyone. Okay? Somebody goes around doing that to people energetically. If you're going around, I don't know how to I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to say it. If you're like lusting after people, like actively, like especially her, because I know now that she was doing it with intent, because I realized what she was doing. But if you're actively sending those kind of thoughts to everybody, to people, you're putting out that frequency. You're putting out a frequency. You're going to draw in what you're looking for eventually. Like, if you went to a room full of people and did that energetically to them, you're going to find a few takers in that room, And that's what I mean about not grounding your energy. And I'm not really trying to say I was grounding my energy then, because honestly, there's a lot of stuff spiritually I was still very confused about. And I'm not trying to say I'm an expert now, but there was a lot of stuff, some questions I needed answered that have been answered. I was a lot more in my feelings and my emotions, a lot more triggered back then. But now I know it. When that happened, that was so weird. I'm like, that wasn't me. What just happened there? But that's what happens. That's what I mean about manifesting a person back, like using them as a muse. Because even though, okay, let's say she liked me and she was using me as a muse. She's eventually going to find someone who reminds her of me or whatever. That frequency is still there. It doesn't have to just be me, but somebody with the energy of someone like me, or someone that reminds her of me, whatever. But it wasn't me. See, the energy was a mismatch, because when that happened, my spirit, if you want to call it your spidey senses, whatever, just my hair stood up, like dogs, their hair stands up on their back when they get scared. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but put out that frequency, make a thought form of it, put it out there, and if the person agrees with it, if the energy matches, good for you. If not, something else similar to it will come. That's just a theory for entertainment purposes only. Anyway, I'm going to end with this. I know that was really long. I'm going to end with this. You are a trendsetter. You have excellent ideas. You are aware of your purpose. It is spoken, it is written, and so it is. Amen.